Hello, and welcome to this little training that we're going to have here. So, one of the most common complaints that I get from contractors is they essentially book in an estimate, they show up to the estimate, but after they send out that estimate, they usually get ghosted, okay? And I'm going to break down the reasons why you're getting ghosted and what you're going to need to do in order to make sure that never happens again. Because in most cases, if a property owner ghosts you after an estimate, it's not because of the price, okay? You actually lose the job not because of the price, but because of other reasons, okay? And I'll literally go through it with you right now. So first things first is like pre-qualification, right? If you don't ask questions that qualifies the lead, such as what is your budget? What is your timeline? Why do you want to do this job, right? All these very important things. Like you got to find out whether or not this lead is even qualified to get an estimate by you, right? Because you're showing up to pitch people, right? To close people. But if that person isn't qualified, if they're not a good fit, and they don't fit your criteria, you're going to be essentially wasting time, okay, on unqualified people. So first things first is you want to make sure that you're actually pre-qualifying leads. That way you do not waste any time on them, okay? Now, the second thing is building trust, okay? And that is something that I see a lot of contractors make the mistake of not doing. But trust literally closes. In other words, conviction, certainty. How do you build trust? Okay, you build trust by having a conversation with the property owner. You find out why they want to do this job. Why are they looking to get this job done? How does their current property make them feel? Right? Why do they want to get it done? What are their pain points? Right? You want to find out the property owner's pain points. Now, after you find out the property's pain points, you want to find out their desires, right? You want to find out their doubts, their fears. Why are they talking to other contractors out there? What are they primarily looking for? What is their checklist? What is their criteria? What are they looking for in a contractor, right? All these very important things, because if you just literally just call them up, book them in for an estimate, and all that you do is literally just show up without any education, without any social proof built up whatsoever, like that trust percentage, it is not built up yet. Okay, like trust is at level 0. And if you don't build that trust as much as possible in the first few touch points that you're going to have with a property owner, the chances of you closing them is very slim, because most of the time, if you don't have enough trust built, the person will tell you, I want to think about it, I'll get back to you later, even before you even give them an estimate. Okay, and even after you give them an estimate, like that's what will make them want to ghost you. Because that trust factor isn't there. They just don't see you as the person who's going to do the best job, okay? They don't see you as the most certain, the best contractor that can do this job, okay? That is what is very important, because property owners, they don't know who you are. They've never met you. They've never talked with you. They maybe have seen your ad if you put your faces, or on the website, wherever they saw you. Because people ghost when they don't actually trust the person. That's what we found out primarily, and something that we want to share with you today. Now, another thing is you did not handle the objections before the price. Now, what does that mean? Before you send out an estimate, you always want to pre-handle any and all of their objections, okay? Let me give you an example. Before you drop the price, the person might say, you know, okay, let's bring up a concrete pouring or even a kitchen remodeling example, okay? Let's say a person has an objection, right? An objection is anything that might prevent the person from moving forward. And any time you get an objection, you need to handle it right then and there, okay? Your biggest mistake is not going to be handling that objection. It's literally going to be just letting it slide and forgetting about it, okay? Because the moment that you let an objection slide is the moment that you're going to lose the sale. I promise you that. I give you my word. So whenever you get an objection, what you actually want to do is pre-handle it, right? Before you drop the price. So what does that mean? You want to find out what is their budget, right? You want to find out what is their timeline. When are they looking to get it done? You want to find out any of their concerns, right? And to give you that example, it's like if that person, for example, is looking to get their kitchen remodeled, but the last time that they had their kitchen remodel was 2 years ago, but now they need to do it again because it's falling apart or there are issues occurring with it and they need to get it done again, right? Like that is a concern. That is an objection that will arise if you do not get over it right now, okay? Because that objection, it will come out in the form of fear or uncertainty, right? Because they might be afraid of paying another contractor money and the same situation happening as this time around. So what do you need to do? You need to get over that objection, okay? Because if you don't get over that objection, it's gonna scare them off when you send them that estimate. Because I'm telling you, you need to get over objections before you drop the price. Because the moment you drop the price is the moment that you lose all leverage. And the moment that you lose all leverage is the moment that you lose the chance of getting over the objections. So it's way easier to handle their objections because you want to ask them, I mean, so what if we don't get this kitchen done for you? I guess, like, are you just gonna let it be like the way that it is right now? Or let's say it was a smelling bathroom, right? Whatever it may be. Are you just gonna let it be the way that it is right now? No? Okay. I mean, I understand that you had a bad experience in the past with a previous contractor, but do you know the reasons why, like, this situation occurred? Because they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't do this, they didn't do this for you. And here's how we're different, right? So that is essentially just one of the ways that you can handle objections. Don't want to get into too much depth on that, but essentially the fourth thing is you just send them a number and that's it, okay? If you send them an email, I want you to reach out, okay? I want you to give them a call, okay? Go over the estimate, go over the pricing structure. Tell them like, hey, this is gonna cost this much, and this much, like this is why, okay? Because most of you contractors out there, your price is gonna be greater than other contractors out there that are doing it for lower, that might not have insurances, whatever, you know, they might not be doing that you are. And you need to understand how to build that value. You need to essentially make the person understand why it costs more. Okay? Because a lot of the times a person won't move forward with you, not because they can't afford it, but because they don't see the value in the services that you provide. So if you don't build up that value and explain to them why you cost more than any other companies out there, then you're gonna lose it to another contractor that's gonna do a shittier job. Excuse me for my language, just being real with you. It's gonna do a shittier job, and then that property owner is going to end up spending twice the amount of money that they could have just spent by moving forward with you, right? Now, another thing is, next thing, the fifth thing is you're treating your property owners as transactions rather than conversations, okay? If you just show up to the estimate, you just look around, you do the measurements, okay? And then you literally leave, then you send them an email with the estimate, like, you will lose the job, okay? You will lose it. Because a person wants to be guided, okay? They want to be led. And another very key thing, if you don't assume the close, if you don't assume that they're going to want to move forward with you, like they never will. If you ask them, so do you want to do this? Why is this person asking me if I want to do it? If he's the best of the best, why wouldn't I be doing it? So you always want to assume, right? You always want to have a conversation with a property owner. You always want to find out and understand their pain, their desires, their doubts, their fears, their worries. Why are they looking to get this project done? Have they gotten anything like this done in the past? How did it go? Did it go great? Did it go bad? Okay? Get all their details. Find out exactly what they're looking for. What is their checklist? How soon are they looking to get it done? Because when a prospect feels that you fully and entirely understand them and their situation, that is how trust is built. Okay? Because other contractors, they don't do that. All they do is just show up, do the measurements, and literally leave. No connection is built. How do you expect the person to pick you if you didn't build any connection or rapport whatsoever? You need to build that connection. Because I'm telling you, connection closes deals. Because before they buy the services, before they buy your company, who are they going to need to buy? They're going to need to buy you. Okay? So that's the next thing. Yeah. These are just the big things that I've seen where we have contractors from closing 1 out of 10 deals, right? Estimates, and going to 7 to 8 out of 10 estimates that are being closed. And these are really the important things that were really missing that prevented them from really getting to the close rate that they wanted to have. And I'm telling you, like, you can close any estimate. If it's a logistics issue, then you can't close them, okay? Like if it's a truly logistics issue, like they don't have the money, they can't afford it, like that kind of thing. And even if that's the case, you can still get them to do a loan, right? So it's not entirely impossible. But what I'm essentially trying to tell you here is if you just have the proper sales process in place, you'll be able to close a heck of a lot more deals than you're closing right now. Because if you're not closing 7 to 8 out of 10 like 7 to 8 out of 10 estimates that you're doing right now, it is primarily because you don't have the sales process in place. Okay. Now, you don't want your close rate to also be too high, because if you're closing 9 out of 10 estimates, it could mean that you are charging too cheap. Okay. And if you're closing 10 out of 10 estimates, even sometimes it means for you to increase your prices. Okay. And that's another tip for you that we've seen. And then, yeah, that's about it. Hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. But yeah, the moment that you stop with the weak communication, with the weak conversations, and just being literally a contractor rather than being a person that's showing up and caring for that property owner and wanting to help them and literally being like a consultant, like a designer in a way, right? The moment you stop doing that, being a contractor, and you start being that person that's showing up at the highest level, is the moment that you're going to have people no longer ghosting you, because that connection is being built. And they're going to be like, I like this person so much, like I need to tell them what's on my mind. Right? But they should never feel that. They should never think of like, oh, I need to tell this person how I feel about everything after you send out the number. You should find that out before you send the number estimate or the phone call. So yeah, that's about it. Once again, let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'm sure that we'll be able to respond back to you, or just feel free to reach out to us via DMs. Take care. Crush it. You got it.